Hare Krishna. Welcome back to our Swadhyay online reading retreat labs presents power of SAP series, the gateway to spirituality. So SAP here stands for not the ERP, which is very popular from a German product. And being an SAP consultant, I take a pride that. And here SAP refers to Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana. So what does it mean? So you have to watch in another series of video. Maybe you can check out the series earlier videos where I have explained the same thing and also have created a mind map for that as well. So till now we have completed as per the last session the chapter number 2. So we are continuing with the Gita for Daily enrichment series for a while, and we are currently in the book number 1 we are reading, and in that book number 1 currently we are reading the theme number 2. So theme number 1 already we have completed. So that is this one. So currently we are going through the theme number 2. Okay, so the theme number 1 was all about going through life's reversals, and there we have around 29 articles we have seen there, right? And now today we are going to continue with the other verse, right? So let's continue with the theme number 2 as usual. And in the theme number 2 we were continuing with seeing the world through Gita's eyes. And today we are going to cover the Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 2, verse number 52. Right? So let's continue. Let's first start with the original Bhagavad Gita as it is. Verse translation, it's Purport 2.52. Let's go to the Vedas. When your intelligence is passed out of the dense forest of delusion, you shall become indifferent to all that has been heard and all that is to be heard. Right? Purport. There are many good examples in the lives of the great devotees of the Lord, of those who became indifferent to the rituals of the Vedas simply by devotional service to the Lord. When a person factually understands Krishna and his relationship with Krishna, he naturally becomes completely indifferent to the rituals of fruitive activities. Even though an experienced brāhmaṇa, Śrī Mādhavendra Purī, a great devotee and ācārya in the line of the devotees, says, so read only the translation here. Oh, my prayers, 3 times a day, all glory to you. O bathing, I offer my obeisance unto you. O demigods, O forefathers, please excuse me for my inability to offer you my respects. Now, wherever I see it, I can remember the great descendant of the Yadu dynasty, Kṛṣṇa, the enemy of Gantāsi, and thereby I can free myself from all sinful bondage. I think this is sufficient for me. The Vedic rites and rituals are imperative for neophytes, comprehending all kinds of prayer 3 times a day, taking a bath early in the morning, offering respects to the forefathers, etc. But when one is fully in Krishna consciousness and is engaged in his transcendental loving service, one becomes indifferent to all these regulative principles because he has already attained perfection. If one can reach the platform of understanding by service to the Supreme Lord Krishna, he has no longer to execute different types of penances and sacrifices as recommended in revealed scriptures. And similarly, if one has not understood that the purpose of the Vedas is to reach Krishna and simply engages in the rituals, etc., then he is uselessly wasting time in such engagements. Persons in Krishna consciousness transcend the limit of Sabda Brahma or the range of the Vedas and Upanishads. Now we will read it from Gita for Daily Enrichment series, the same verse reflections. 2.52. How can we be true to ourselves? We live at the receiving end of a massive propaganda bleeds from our materialistic culture. Bleeds means an intensive sudden military attack here. or in for certain constant effort to deal with something, right? Most people simply blow whichever direction the cultural winds fly, as is graphically seen in how their likings changed quickly according to the fashions. In such a cultural scenario, a few people stick to their own ways of living, saying that they want to be true to themselves. This sentiment is good, but Gita wisdom emphasizes we need to first know what the true self is, the soul. We are presently covered internally by our mind's conditionings and externally by culture's conceptions. So you have to presently you have to remember these two things. We are currently covered internally by mind's conditionings and we are externally by culture's conceptions. To be true to ourself means to act according to our nature as souls and delight in loving Krishna. For that, we need to counter both the outer cultural and inner mental influences by placing ourselves in a spiritually conducive environment and cultivating a devotionally receptive mindset. Otherwise, in the name of being true to oneself, we may well be holding on to outdated conventions that are as untrue to our true identity as are the current fashions. The conventions that we follow in the name of being true to ourselves may well be nothing more than the external influences that had affected our ancestors. The real criterion for deciding what is true to oneself is not what is conventional, but what is spiritual, that is conducive for our realization of our true self. Using this criterion, spiritually realized people, the Bhagavad Gita 2.52 indicates stay uninfluenced by what they are hearing now, what they have heard in the past, and what they will hear in the future. They are fixed in their inner connection with Krishna and in all that helps them sustain and strengthen that connection. The steadiness is the true standard of being true to oneself, right? This is an important point here. When you're in, again, we will read the translation of this verse. When your intelligence is passed out of the dense forest of delusion, you shall become indifferent to all that has been heard and all that is to be heard, right? So now with this, we completed this particular verse. And as usual, we'll be marking some words of the day, a few words which you do not know the meaning in case. Here we'll be writing a few words, like one is a blitz, I think only the blitz. Yeah, so then we also have, yeah, we are presently covered internally by our mind's conditioning. Yesterday is also very important point. We have to make a note of it. Now, with this, we have completed this particular verse. In the next session, we will be continuing a new verse that is 2.61. Are we winning the misery championship with our eyes? Are we winning the misery championship? So this one we will mark it as a green as we have already completed. Done. So the next one is 2.61. That is, are we winning the misery? Are we winning the misery championship with our eyes? Okay, so now we will stop here and I will recommend to read the verse and the translation for 2.52 once again, right? And we will see in the next session with the 2.61, that is one of the important verse again, 2.61. Yeah, this one we will be going to study in the next session, right? Thank you for joining in. Hare Krishna. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare